Hello guys, welcome to the lecture. In this lecture, we are going to create the pause button inside the CPP bottom nav, and here you can see this button, pause button, and you also see that these three divs has little bit margin around them. So what we are going to do here, we are going to use a Flexbox model to achieve this layout. So let's get started. First of all, open up the HTML file. When we scroll down, you will see CPP bottom nav. We will open the div, and here we are going to create a div that will wrap the button, and we'll say button, and button will have value of post. Let's set up value attribute parameter, value parameter here. So we'll say value post. Save the file. Now let's check this out, is working or not. Now our button is added here. So open up the CSS file. This is the CPP button nav. So here we are going to add CPP bottom nav. Grab the div, inside the div select the button. Button will have a font size of 15 pixels and font weight will be bolder. Width will be 100% and padding will be 8 pixel. We don't give border, so we'll say border none, and then we're gonna use border radius of 5 pixels. Let's save the file. Let's check this out. Now as you can see, look the same here. It's time to give them a flex classes. If we open up the HTML file here, and when we close this up, now you will see the model, Flexbox model here. So what we have done here, we have said that this is a CBox body, okay, and let me explain. So this parent div, this div actually a div for the cpost create post wrap. This is the div which we selected here. So inside the div we have two element, which is the child of this div. We have divided two section, this create post header and this body, which include the name and the text area and the bottom section. If you see here, we have CBox header and CBox body. In the header you will see that we have the heading tag and the font awesome icon here in a span element. And if we see the CBox body here, we have the name section, text area section, and we have the bottom section. So these three section is stacked in a column direction. So as we know that we can use flex properties to make our layout in a row direction or in a column direction. We have used the flex direction row property to align in a row position which defaultly added by the browser. But if we use flex direction column, which I have explained it in previous lecture, you will see that it will give the flex direction row to these elements, and that is a powerful way of making your flexible layout. So let's open up the HTML here, and if we see here, we have this create pop-up box, and we can say here this is flex. Now this is the flex container, and our item will be flow in a flex direction column position. So we'll say save it and refresh it. You will not notice the changes. Let me open up the developer tool. Now you will see here, if you can see here, we have added the flex class, and the flex class is working, and the flex direction column is also working. Because it's already in a flex direction column position, it has the space according to the flex direction row, so we don't need to use that. So it's not showing the changes because it's taking the space of the div of the container. So now the proper way is to add, if the layout is in a column direction, so we should use the flex direction column property to align our item in a column direction. If our item is in the row position, so we should use the flex direction row property. So by default, the flex direction row property added by the browser, if we use the display flex property to make a container a flex container. So if we want to use the flex direction column, we need to use the flex direction column property to align our item in a column direction. So that is how the browser know that we need a column direction layout. So now our body and the header is now aligned according to the flex direction column. But you can see, if I zoom in, you will see this create pop-up box. So it has 500 width and 430 pixel height. So now these two item is a flex container. The header is using 500 width and 53 pixel height. So the body is now have the size of 450 width and 302 height. But the space of the create power box is larger than these two div. What we are going to do here, we are going to say cbox body take all the left space from the create pop-up box. How we will do it, I have already explained in a previous lecture. Using a flex property, we can put a number inside the flex property, and we can take the space according to the number that we put. If you don't know about it, you can also watch my previous lecture. So open up the HTML file here. So we will say here cbox body take all the width, and we'll say flex1. We have created a class, we'll say flex1, save the file and refresh it. Now if we see here, now it take all the width. Okay, and this time we are going to align items in a column direction inside the cbox body. This time we are going to align item inside the cbox body. We have cbox top, cbox mid and cbox bottom. You will see that cbox is not a flex container, and these item is not a flex items. So we're gonna make a cbox a flex container. Go to the HTML file, and then we are going to add a flex class here. So we'll say flex, it will add display flex property, and now the cbox body will be a flex container. open up and refresh it. Now you can see it aligning these items according to the row direction. We don't need that. We are going to use a flex direction column property to align our item in a column direction. So we will say flex direction column, save it, refresh it. Now you can see our item is now aligned according to the flex direction column position. So these item is now in the column position, and now you can see we have C box top, C box mid, and C box bottom. So the C box bottom is not getting the all height which C box body have. So what we are going to do here, we are going to say flex 1 to C box body. If we open up this, you'll see we have C box top. If we close it, this top, this mid, and this bottom. So we'll open up this bottom and we'll say close it and close it and close this as well. So we have 3 divs inside this C box bottom. We have CBB wrap. So we are going to say flex 1 to C box bottom. Save it. Now let's see it what happened. Now we have grabbed the all left it space, and then this time we gonna use this CBB wrap and make it a flex container. So let's do it. Now this is a CBB wrap, so we will say flex and then save it, refresh it. You will notice that these item is now aligned in a row direction, because if we open up the CBB wrap flex CBB wrap, you will see it has 3 different div which we have: top nav, middle nav, and bottom nav. We make the CBB wrap a flex container, and then defaultly flex direction row property applied. So let's fix that. So we will use FD row, FD column, FD column. So FD column, save it, refresh it. Now it's perfectly fine. Now if we zoom this, you will see this is the CBB bottom nav, and this is the middle nav, and this is the top nav. Now these 3 divs now flex items, and CBB wrap is a flex container for the top nav, middle nav, and bottom nav. But the CBB wrap, which is wrap inside the C box bottom, this div should also have a flex property. So we will make this div a flex container. So go and here we are going to say flex, save it, and refresh it. You can see it add the flex direction column, but it haven't take all the space left. So let's add the flex 1 here. You can see we have added here, but we haven't added inside the CBB wrap. So what it does, it will take all the space which is left inside the C box bottom. So save it, refresh it. Now it take all the space. Now inside the CBB wrap we have 3 different div. So we are going to use flex property as we use here, but we are going to use a small value, smaller than 1, to align our div. Let's see what happen if we use flex 1 for the CBB top nav. You can see take all the space which left and stretch all these elements to the bottom, but we don't need that. We say 0.5. I think 6 is much better. And if we copy this and if we say CBB middle, give it also a 0.6. I think 0.6 is too much, so we'll say 0.2 or maybe 0. I think 0 is good. And the CPP bottom, we say flex 1. Now you can see this has too much space left, so we are going to align our item inside the CPP bottom nav. But first we are going to add these style. So go to CPP top nav and middle nav. So we'll go to the style.css file. So we'll scroll to CPP middle. So this is the CPP middle nav. So what style we have added? We have said flex 0.6. So we will say flex 0.6. And for the this is for the top nav, so we will scroll to the top nav. This is the top nav, paste it here. And this is the middle nav, so we'll say flex 0 for the middle nav. So scroll down. This is the middle, so save it. And now go to CPP bottom nav. So it's inside the HTML, so go to the HTML. And inside the HTML here, we are going to say CPP bottom nav flex 1, save it. Now if we see inside the inspect element, you will see it has space and the item is not aligned according to our need. So what we are going to say, we're going to say align item center. Sorry, this is not a display flex, so we'll say flex, and then we are going to say align after center. Now let's add flex 1 to this children. This div will have a class of flex 1. It will fix the problem. Now you can see if we match our finish project with it, you can see is look the same. So that is how you align item according to the Flexbox model. So it is very powerful, and once you love the Flexbox model, you will always use it because it is very powerful, and every browser is adopted it. And if we create our website using Flexbox model, it will be very flexible and powerful. So I hope you understand this, and I hope you understand it. If you have any question, you can ask me, and you have get stuck if you have trouble about Flexbox. I have previously explained it. You can watch these lecture again, or you can ask me any question, I will answer it. So that's it for now, and see you in the next lecture.